Hey, my name's James Nicholson. I hope you guys are well. In this video, I want to talk about Rishi Sunak's Tory election manifesto. Now, that's just come out today, and there's some big points in here that will impact a few different categories that watch this channel. You've got landlords, whereby you're going to be able to sell your property to your existing tenant. A few little caveats on that, which I'll cover in this video. But that will mean that you won't pay capital gains tax, potentially saving an average of £20,000, which is a huge win for a lot of landlords that want to exit the market. And you've also got a new scheme. Is it new? I don't think it is so new, but there is a new scheme for first-time buyers in order to make sure that they don't pay stamp duty as well. So I'm going to cover both of those things in the Tory manifesto that have come out today. What that means, does this actually change the polls? Do you think this will move the Tories a little bit closer to not getting absolutely crushed in the election? I don't know. I'd like to know your comments below. Before we jump into this, as always, if you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. I've got new content every single day. We're keeping you up to date on what's happening in the property market right now. And while you're here, smash like, tickle like, do something to the like button. That's the most important task I have for you to do while I give you the content, because that gets the YouTube algorithm all excited and brings in new viewers to the channel. So take a moment to do that right now. So, Rishi Sunak is not in an enviable position, is he? He is really struggling in the polls, or the Tories are really struggling in the polls, and they're expected to get absolutely crushed by Labour in the next election. So right now, the Tories have got two options: accept that feat, or look at any different strategy or policy that they can add in order to have a chance of staying in power. So this is what they've come up with. First, they have got, the manifesto, they talk a lot about home ownership. They go on about Margaret Thatcher and stuff like that, because that was a big thing, wasn't it? The right to buy properties back in the day, which did work out well for a lot of people back then. And so they're saying that they want to really help people get on the property ladder, because that is in the news on a daily basis. The housing crisis, how expensive it is to actually get property. And that's very, very important. So here's what they've come up with. I'm not so sure. Let me know what you think. So what they're saying is no capital gains tax if you're a landlord and you sell your property to your tenant. Now, that is a pretty good idea, right? That is a pretty good idea. There are so many landlords that have just had enough in the market at the moment. Maybe it's the Section 24 tax. Maybe it's the interest rates. Maybe it's the fact that the Renters Reform Bill nearly went through and potentially might come back after the general election, meaning no fault evictions are going. There's tons of stuff that landlords aren't happy with, and there are probably 20-30% of landlords in the market that would like to leave, but they don't want to pay massive exit fees and tax and stuff like that. So this no capital gains is potentially a good thing. Now, there are some rules on that. They have to have been your tenant before today, right? So you have to be able to provide a tenancy agreement when you do this, and it has to have been prior to the 10th of June today. Because what they don't want you to do is, if they get into power, you rent to your mates that want to buy your property, and you can get away with paying the capital gains tax. So that's one rule that they've got in. So it has to be a tenant that was either a tenant today or prior to today. And you've got to be able to prove that when that transaction goes through. So that, I think there is a number of landlords that would want to take that. I don't think it's going to be an election winner, though. I don't think this impacts enough people to move the mark enough, because I would expect more landlords are probably Conservative voters anyway. There's lots of people constantly commenting on this channel saying Labour are going to be a nightmare for landlords. So I don't know. Either way, but I think that most landlords, not most, I think there are definitely more Conservative landlords than there are Labour, for sure. So that's one thing that they're going to do. Then he launched this new scheme to big fanfare, and that's the Help to Buy scheme that's already out. So I thought this would change a little bit. It didn't, right? So there's a Help to Buy scheme, and that means that if you're a first-time buyer and you buy a property for less than 425 grand, which is probably most first-time buyers, even in London, then you will not pay stamp duty, right? You will not pay stamp duty. Now, it's strange. I've read the press on this and they're all talking about like this is something new. This is already here. All they're doing is just carrying it on. There's nothing new particularly here. So again, I don't think this will get across to first-time buyers enough. I don't think this moves the needle enough to change the polls. So I don't think this is particularly exciting either. Will it help some people? Definitely, yeah. So if you're a first-time buyer, obviously it's good that this is continuing and that will help you as long as you're spending less than 425 grand, which most people are as a first-time buyer for sure. So yeah, I think it's a good policy, but I don't know why it's quite getting as much news as it is today. But these are the two housing measures that they've got. I don't think that either of these are particularly strong. I don't think either of these are particularly vote getters or even getting more votes for Labour. Either way, I don't think they do much. I don't think that they're really going to make a big difference either way. I think what's interesting is the policies that we have had, that things that are impacting the housing market. For example, this week, wages have gone up. So the average wage has gone up around 5% a year, which is great. I think that's positive. But it means the Bank of England is less likely to cut interest rates this year. It's another reason for that. They don't want to see wages going out of control. But why are those wages going up? That's because the government increased the national minimum wage, which I do think is a good thing, right? I do think it's a good thing. But that's adding, it's something that the government did that is keeping the figures higher, that's stopping interest rates going down. And that's impacting a lot of purchases in the market at the moment. We also had it earlier this year, another government policy. So we had another spike in inflation. It was probably about 3 or 4 months ago, there was a spike in inflation. And that was because they increased the alcohol duty in the budget, right? So they knew that they were doing that. They didn't pause that. They increase the inflation by their own act. So that's twice that they've done that now. And those sorts of things, and having no policy that is going to make inflation go down or interest rates go down. If you came to the party with that, either Labour, Reform, Tories, Green Party, whoever, if you came to the party with some policies that would be showing people how you're going to bring interest rates down, I think that could be a vote getter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Keep it polite. Political stuff, I know, does get people going a little bit. Do smash like, do share this video, do check out more content on the channel, including this video right here.